In the motorsport world, racing cars belong on racing circuits and rally cars belong on rally stages. But there are some exceptions, the Jaguar Simola Hillclimb being one of those. In that event, cars can compete against the clock, and they don't necessarily have to be racing cars either. Like last year, we've persuaded the good folk at Fiat Chrysler South Africa to lend us a car. And if it looks similar to the Alfa Romeo 4C we had in 2015, you'd be right. But at closer inspection, you'll see that it's actually the Spider version. And like last year, we've also decided to drive the car down, compete in the hill climb, and drive back. Along the way, we are going to drive some of the more remote and lesser known passes and hopefully have some driving fun at the same time. The Alfa 4C Spider is not exactly an ideal long-distance car, but like the coupe, it has all the hallmarks of a great hill climb contender. It's light, powerful and responsive. Those qualities also make it a superb driving machine. A 1750cc four-cylinder turbo engine delivers 177 kilowatt and 350 newton meters to the rear wheels via a 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox, while a curb mass of only 940 kilograms translates into a power-to-weight ratio of 188 kilowatt a ton, enough for a 4.5 second 0 to 100 sprint time and a 257 km/h top speed. As we said before, one of the magic elements of this Alfa Romeo 4C is that it's not just the kind of car that you want to race on a hill climb, but it's a car that you want to savor and enjoy on the way there and on the way back. And for that reason, we've picked a series of mountain passes on the route down that will really show up the talents of this car to best effect and probably give us a bit of fun at the same time. First of those on our route down is the Lootsburg Pass. Now this pass is between Middelburg and Graafrenet. In fact, it's the first of a series of 5 passes. It was constructed way back in 1858 by Thomas Bain. It was tarred for the first time in 1961, and it's named after a Mr. Loots who had the unfortunate incident of passing away after his carriage had overturned on this very scenic pass. Not difficult to drive, actually quite quick where visibility allows. There is the possibility of snow here in winter, and it does get quite icy. At the moment the weather not great, so quite wet and rainy, but it is a very panoramic pass, beautiful long sweeps winding their way down from the Great Karoo, of course, up Middelburg side, and eventually landing down in the Klein Karoo. The Alfa Romeo very much suited to these conditions, and if there wasn't the small issue of speed limits, you could really almost imagine yourself being on an alpine pass going hell for leather. The Lootsburg Pass itself is just more than 6 kilometers long, and its wide cambered sweeps invite panoramic vistas of the Karoo towards Graafrenet. Even in the wet, with temperatures lingering below 10 degrees and the wind howling through the pass, the 4C felt sure-footed and composed, cornering with a flat, unfussed assurance that made negotiating the curves and turns a grin-inducing affair. By the time we reached Windheuvelpoort on the other side of Graafrenet, conditions had improved dramatically. Not all the passes we selected for our road trip are necessarily that long or that challenging. Some of them simply present a visual surprise, and one of those is Windheuvelpoort, which you'll find somewhere between Graafrenet and Willowmore. It's quite surprising in the sense that you come down a long, narrow, typical Karoo road, get into a couple of twists and turns, and then suddenly out of nowhere there's this dam, very often dry, with a very unusual, characteristic dam wall. Apparently the whole idea behind that dam wall is simply to prevent flooding into the plains and the valleys below. And there are some very nice twists and turns as well, just for those of us, of course, who like our driving. To the 4C's credit, and despite a cabin so noisy that in-car conversation at highway speeds was almost impossible, we were enjoying every minute of our time in the Roadster's company. Fuel consumption was hovering at around 7.8 litres per 100 kilometres, even with all the toing and froing during our filming of the passes along the way. Between Willowmore and Uniondale, we threaded our way through Gwari Poort, a 15-kilometre section of tar that proves, in no uncertain terms, that there is a lot more to the Karoo than desolate plains. The road isn't particularly challenging, but the sound of the Alfa's bark through the Poort and the scenery made it a memorable stretch to drive. Despite the taut suspension and the hard-backed seats, the more than 12 hours and 1,200 k's spent driving the Alfa from Johannesburg to this part of the Karoo had been a lot more comfortable than expected. But now the day was fast drawing to a close. The rich glow of the afternoon sun was starting to fade, and with a fair distance still to cover, it was time to head for the Uniondale Poort as our last driving challenge for the day. One of the Karoo's hidden mountain pass treasures is a little road called the Uniondale Poort, and it leads between Uniondale and the hamlet of Avontuur. First used as a gravel road in 1925, was tarred in 1960, and these days it's a very beautiful, very twisty and quite taxing road, which if you like your driving tight and twisty, has some very unexpected tight corners. Also truly beautiful, a lot of rocky facades, and there's a story around that pass as well as far as the Uniondale ghost is concerned, although our research shows that perhaps that road is not the one the ghost chooses to appear on, but we'll have a look at that particular road, the Barandas Road, just a little bit later. It may only be 7 kilometers long, but this little poort can be treacherous as it threads its way past soaring cliffs, around tight corners and over blind rises. It was closed for more than 3 years after heavy flooding washed away much of the road in 2007, but was reopened in 2011. Today, it's a must-drive alternative to the bigger and busier Potchefstroom Pass. Frankly, this option is both quieter and more scenic, and for those with a bit more time, there are some good vantage points. However, with the clock ticking, we had to press on. We finally reached Knysna well after dark, weary but looking forward to an exciting weekend of hill climb action. The 4C needed no more attention than some extra decaling and a good clean. After that, it was ready for hill climb action.